You know, I've had so many people that have been strikers turn out not wanting to strike, so
Download the AllStar app. Make your picks for UFC fights, challenge your friends, level up and win prizes. Link in description. Get it now. Elise, I wanted to get started with these UFC watch parties that you've been doing lately. How has it been watching fights live streaming? Is this your first type of live stream that you've been doing?
yeah. The watch parties are my first kind of toe in the water of live stream. As people may be aware, it takes me like 7 takes to even get a minute of video right. So um, I've enjoyed them. It's definitely a great opportunity to interact with fans and interact with people as we're watching. But yeah, it's something else. Setting it up, setting a ring light, and getting it all situated for that watch party. So I've been enjoying them. There'll be many more.
Is that something that you've decided yourself to like just be more involved in putting yourself out there, like in on social media and stuff like that?
Yes, in terms of creating social media content and being a presence on any platform, I don't do very well with it. It's just I'm just not the person that's going to be the first person to take a video of me or post a photo of me. So I think the live stream allows me to interact with people, have my fans and supporters get a real take of what it's like just to hang out with me. And so I think that's the best, is where I don't have to think as much. I get to just react, and then as things happen, I can answer questions. But yeah, it's a way for me to create content while also staying true to kind of who I am, instead of posting a bunch of photos.
Well, live streaming is probably the easiest. You just turn it on and
Whatever happens, happens, right? Yeah. Setting it up was a little unique. The ring light and the solid camera and all that stuff. But yeah, I definitely enjoy it more than recording video and posting it on Instagram or Facebook.
well, last weekend you were watching UFC 288 and we saw Yan Xaionan knock out Jessica Andrade, which was shocking to a lot of people because we've never seen Yan knock out anybody in the UFC. That was the first one, and against one of the heaviest hitters of all time in the women's divisions. How surprised were you with that?
I was also surprised with Andrade's pressure. She had extreme pressure, and we talk about it in fighting training. When you have somebody moving forward so fast, it kind of doubles the other person's strength and power if they get the timing right. Um, so I obviously didn't expect it. I didn't expect Yana to take her out like that, but it was a pretty beautiful timed hook. So when you have that type of timing, um, anything can happen. And Draj was pushing forward. I think Jan will have a little bit more respect in the cage in terms of striking moving forward. But yeah, no, it was a huge surprise.
Yeah, it was. It almost seemed like they perfectly prepared for Andrade to come in there with those left hooks, and a lot of people pointed to that Andrade loves to kind of swing left hooks moving forward, and like you said, perfect timing.
Yeah, a little
Now,
step to the side.
yeah,
Absolutely. Oh yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it was gorgeous.
yeah.
Beautiful.
People can't say women don't have power in the strawweight division. You know what I mean?
No.
Like they got power.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's why it's an exciting division to watch, right? Because you get a little bit of everything: speed, power, and then obviously sometimes you watch ladies do grappling in MMA, and you're not even sure what position that is. Like they just make stuff up as they go. So yeah, no, it was good. It was nice to see for sure.
Now, turning our attention to you, June 3rd, you're back in action. You're going to be facing Jinh Yu Frey, a former Invicta champ. She's very experienced. What are your thoughts on her and the style she brings?
You know, I've had so many people that have been strikers turn out not wanting to strike. So I'm not really sure what Jin I'm going to get. You know, if I get a striker that's going to go toe to toe, obviously I'm ready for that. But knowing that she's coming out of Sam Hughes' camp and the unfortunate display that I had then, I also have it's a very high probability that they're going to try to use some of the things that worked before on me again. So we're focusing on both options. I'd love to fight a Yan, somebody that wants to rush forward and throw haymakers and see what's what. But I think I've made a statement enough to where people don't want to do that anymore. So I have to be prepared for anything and everything. And I think with her, and again coming out of a training camp where Sam Hughes trains the same spot, I think they believe that they have a solid blueprint. And unfortunately, I watched that fight too, and I have a solid blueprint of what they're going to try to do. So if she wants to strike, it's going to be great. We're going to have a great time. If she wants to start doing wrestling, it's great. It's going to be a good time. I'm very aware that I have to be on my A game in terms of knowing what they're going to come with me, and be a little bit patient in terms of deciphering what that game plan exactly is. So
the mindset, to make it basic for like fans, right, is like you're probably thinking they're gonna try to wrestle you, grapple you, or fight you in the clinch. But if they do strike with you, you're gonna be extremely happy with that situation.
Yeah. I mean, I fought somebody from Thailand and they didn't want to strike with me either. So it's just, we're at a point where, I have to kind of keep people quiet a little bit, thinking that they know what they're going to get. And unfortunately they get to see a different side of me, because they don't want to play. So we'll go the other way. We'll go clinch. We'll go ground. We'll go wrestling. I'm happy for the grind. But yeah, she wants to try to strike with me. I mean, I'll do that. I'll do that any day of the week. So we shall see.
We've seen Yan go through that as well. Yan's a striker. She loves to strike, and then in one of her fights, she got out grappled, and then she came back and faced a grappler and grappled well in that fight. You know what I mean? And then that opened up her striking in the next fight. You know what I mean? Kind of, can you see kind of like similarities to that, like how you have to evolve to kind of stay with the top of the division?
Absolutely. I mean, you saw this past weekend, Kron and Jordan, man, gorgeous, right? It really is just being one. You have to have enough knowledge, right, to be able to add that to your game plan. But the way he was separating and creating distance and just pushing him off, I mean, that is golden. And I think, we've had definitely a little evolution where I would just hit people and they go down. And they're not going down anymore. And, smart on them. But we're making those adjustments as well. And it also doesn't mean that I'm not going to be trying to strike. So it's finding the good balance where I have to be able to go there if they want to bring me there, but also understanding my strength is my strength, and supplementing it the right way so that, it becomes a very dangerous game to play, standing up or going to the ground.
Your last fight was in Perth, Australia. And from what I heard, if you're flying from the East Coast to Perth, Australia, that's like flying around the world. How long did it take for you to get there?
It took a really long time to get there. It took, on the way to Perth, it took 37 hours. 37 hours and a 13-hour time difference. So we got there in the morning, but it was 13 hours ahead. So it was really at night. So we had to stay up all day, or as long as we could. I think we went to bed at like 5, 6 o'clock in the evening. But I woke up at 4:30 in the morning for like the rest of the camp up until the fight, because it made more sense because of the time difference. And then on the way back, we actually took direct flights, so two flights, right? Nothing's direct from Perth to New Jersey, but 2 flights. The first one was 5 hours, so you're like, that's not so bad. Like, second one was 17 and a half on one plane. So that one kind of messed me up a little bit. That one was a rough one. And I tried to get my sleep right for that, and it didn't work. And then we got in at like 6 o'clock in the morning. And of course, my work never stopped. So I had martial arts testing that same day. So I stayed up all day on like 3 hours of sleep. So yeah, I mean, Perth was great, but the travel time was insane. It was
Were
insane.
were you able to acclimate, and did that affect you in the fight, like when you got started?
So we had a really good game plan coming from New Jersey to Australia. We came in 3 or 4 days earlier, and then the UFC gave us an extra day. So we had like a solid week. I want to say 10 days even before the fight. So like I said, we were waking up at 4:30 in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, going to bed early, and it actually ended up being a really nice routine where we wake up, go outside, walk, grab coffee. So the fight, it was dark in the arena. Like it felt like evening, but I was wide awake because I had been up for 4 or 5 hours already at that point anyways. It's kind of no different than fighting at 1 o'clock in the Apex, right? You're up for maybe 4 or 5 hours and then you're fighting. So it wasn't too bad. I thought it was going to be a lot worse. So luckily I can wake up early as long as I go to bed reasonably early as well. Yeah.
How did you take the loss? I know everybody takes losses differently. How did you take that one?
It's weird because fighting is such a personal experience as much as has an audience of however many people. And each experience is different. Each win, each loss is different. So with this one, I kind of kicked myself a little bit because I wasn't mentally defeated. I definitely wasn't physically defeated. I mean, I'd watch round one over and over again. I kicked her ass round one with likely a broken nose at that point. And round two, I was just so excited. I was so excited because I'm with a striker. I saw her best. I know I got flat because I called her slow, and everybody was like, you got tapped, and then you called her slow. Striking, she was slow. She was walking forward. She was really easy to time. And so it's just, part of the evolution where when you realize that you got to give yourself a little bit more credit sometimes and be like, let me wait 30 seconds. Let me wait 60 seconds and see where they come with next. Because the game plan might change. And the game plan changed. She had beautiful timing. She caught me. And yeah, that was unfortunate. But I would take Loma again. Mm-hmm. I know, I have Jinh Frey, but it wasn't a fight where I feel like we played that back. It would be a completely different outcome, and I think Loma knew that as well. So it's kind of where you just kick yourself a little bit because you're given an opportunity, and if I just had 60 seconds of patience, I would have seen her coming forward. But unfortunately that's how we learn. We learn from those L's that teach us the biggest lessons. So I was actually pretty excited knowing how on I was round one, and moving forward, I'm just going to be a little bit more patient, give myself a little bit more credit when I put people on their heels a little bit so that I can see that their game plan changes. Because, 60 seconds. If I just not thrown that two for 60 seconds, probably would have been a little different. So,
yeah, that first round was good, man. That was a good first round. I was like, yeah, this is gonna be a good fight. I expected it to go all 3 rounds. I expected you guys to go back and forth. But like you said, she took the opportunity, right, and capitalized on it. And you move forward, right? You move forward. Now you got Jin, and you take those lessons into this fight. Do you make any changes with your surroundings for this camp, or do you just keep it?
Training partners that we're adding in, I'd say, the team, the core team stays the same, but there's training partners that we're adding in that are giving us different looks. And I think that's the biggest change. I'd say it's a little different to make a change a drastic change when you're going from a Muay Thai fighter to someone that's likely going to wrestle as much as they're a striker as well. So we're adding in some people that are going to help mimic what likely she's going to do, but that's the only change, is just training partners.
So what are you expecting out of yourself in this upcoming fight?
I'm expecting it to be ugly. I'm expecting it to be where I like to try to maintain some professionalism a little bit, as much as I may talk to commentators and do my showboating a little bit. I can't get rid of it. I don't know how. It just happens. But I want to make it ugly. I want it to be where we stand up, it's ugly. We go to the ground, it's ugly. She wants to try to wrestle, it's ugly. That's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting to be pretty much an a-hole the entire fight and just make her wish she wasn't there. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. I think this is a great matchup. You know, they match you up really well, you know, in every single fight. So this is going to be another good fight. One last question.
Yeah.
We talked about Yan earlier, right? And it looks like they're going to try to put her against her country mate, you know, Zhang Weili. And that's an incredible fight as well. You know, like, I just wanted to get your thoughts, like early thoughts on that fight. You know what I mean? Because I know you watched them and you've seen them develop, and both of them have evolved throughout the years.
Absolutely. I think Weili is not as relaxed. I think Weili comes forward. I think Weili is going to be a little bit more similar to Andrade, moving forward a little bit. I think if Yan does what she did with Andrade, where she's light, she can move forward and back and have that lateral movement. I think she might pick Weili apart. I think Weili she strikes forward. She likes to not bum rush, kind of like what Andrade was doing, but she definitely likes to move forward, have her feet planted. She'll bounce a little bit, but whenever she strikes, most of it is going forward in one direction. So I think it's going to be a good one. I think it's going to be footwork. I think that's going to be the biggest decision. And very likely, if Weili can't beat her footwork, I think Weili's going to try to take Yan down. But we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, no, I'm excited. I mean, if they want to go toe-to-toe like what Weili did with Joanna, then people are going to get another great showing. Because that, I think, probably is a close mimic of what you may see with Yan and Weili, depending on what she's coming with. But, you know, everybody's always evolving. So you also don't know anything that's going to happen, which is the exciting part about fighting.
Well, you know, the strawweight division is an exciting division. They just announced another main event, right? Angela Hill versus Mackenzie Dern.
Yes.
So it's hot. It's on fire, you know, and you got to fight June 3rd. It's going to be great. Thank you so much for the time, and make sure everybody to follow Elise on social media and go into the watch parties and give her a little comment or question or something like that. Thank you so much for the time.
No, thank you very much, and have a great evening.